Hello, my name is Shelby. Welcome back for another episode of Ep39 as German Empire, and we are back with our, war against a good chunk of the world's greater power, at least most of the greater powers in Europe. We're fighting Britain, France, Occitania, and Austria, and Belgium, which actually, oddly enough, I believe is also, they're also a great power. So yeah, we've got a bit of enemies in here. We do have colonies in Africa, which are admittedly mostly occupied at this point. But yeah, so the situation, it could be better. It could definitely be better. But we've already kicked one enemy out of the war, and that was the USA. And now the next one, hopefully, that we can maybe try forcing out is Britain, but that's going to take a while. So there's a good chance that we may need to just take a white peace, because the war is starting to be a bit expensive for our economy. Our GDP has dropped over 100 million during this, which is not exactly ideal, but we do have some fights going on, which we are winning. Well, the defensive ones we're winning. There's an offensive one over here thanks to our colony, which is going pretty badly. But at the same time, the battle in Aachen is going really well in our favor. Oh, what's this? Would I equatorial for... Oh, yeah, no, that's irrelevant right now. We're also going to be getting the Grand Exhibition, presumably in 3 months, which is a little bit surprising. We're losing a whole lot of convoys. I don't think I can do too much about that, because there's the British fleet over here that is bloody massive. While our fleet is actually not that bad. Well, at least the fleet over here is pretty good. The other one is not quite as good. Oh, we had a battle over there. I think it could be that some of our troops... Ooh, that's a massive battle in here, which we are still winning. My goodness, yeah, they've already taken more casualties in debt than we've taken total. Well, not counting demoralized, of course, in that battle, which seems to be the case for most battles, although this battle might be a loss, by the looks of it, so they might actually get into Berlin. How much do they control of the state right now? They control 31%. Okay, it's not that bad. I don't think they'll be taking all of that in one battle, then. We may have just gotten a bit unlucky with... Oh, and then we lost a bit of Bavaria. Oh, dear. It could be that the big battles are tying down so much of our troops that they can then do a bit of advancing, but at the same time they are taking pretty hefty casualties. And we've got 2 battles along the French border over here, which should be mostly fine. I think we can probably retake those. Oh, British Congo is in default. Right, are we winning this? We might actually win this. I'm saying that it's 6-to-1 ratio on troops. That's going to be a bit of a... Well, was at the start, mind you. Yeah, they're retreating already. Spain starts Alger. Oh, right, so there's a revolt. And the one in Gerbitz, we are definitely going to be winning that one. Battle in Aachen is going to be a victory, and I think this one's... Yeah, that's a victory, so we'll retake some of that state there. I'm hoping that we win the battle... Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to win this at this point. With their retreat and all that, they're not dealing all that much damage. So we might be retaking some of Brandenburg then. That's going to be good. We do also have the 2 colonial wars in Africa, which admittedly, since most of the areas have been occupied by other nations, they can't really force us to surrender, but we can't really force them to. So we could potentially just get a white peace. That would mean that the wars at least would be dealt with. We wouldn't be able to colonize their areas for the duration of the truce, though, which I believe is 5 years. So I might just want to wait until Britain is out of the war, then we can fight back the others. And actually, how bad is the war support now for Britain? It's 9-to-1, so they are losing... Okay, so losing less than 1 per week still for the war support, and eventually it can go into negatives, but it's going to take a while. They have taken a decent bit of wounded and dead at this point, though, so that's at least good. Pretty much comparable to what German Senegal has taken, to be fair. We're taking quite a bit more than that compared to the British, but we've also been fighting against quite a bit more troops than they have. Ooh, that's a bit of a big battle in Aachen, but that should be another victory. So we actually are starting to get to the point, at least on the western front, where we might even have the advantage in numbers. Raw numbers, that is. On the eastern front, they still have advantage of about 40,000, currently anyway. But there's quite a big battle in Bavaria, which seems to be a victory. We need to retake some of Brandenburg, I believe. Yeah, they got 13% now. And then we got another battle in Silesia, which is going to be a victory most likely. So slowly but surely, we are definitely still making some gains here. Or rather, taking away their gains, really. Also, we do have a whole lot of states that have no market access right now due to the lack of convoys, but we just don't have the fleet to really do that. And we don't really have the capability right now to increase the fleet too much either. We need the soldiers on the front lines rather than on the fleet. Now, with the British fleet being so large, I mean, once the British fleet is gone, then we can start probably contesting the waters a bit more. But right now, we're just in defensive position until Britain or someone like that falls out of the combat. Now, admittedly, oh yeah, they've got a few battalions over here. Well, they had at least a couple battalions. Not all that many right now. So neither side is really... Belgium would be willing to take a white peace. But that's about it. I'm hoping that we can increase the British war support a bit further. I mean, they have taken a decent bit of casualties. And they're losing more and more of the battles. So yeah, that's at least helping. I don't know if they're getting radicals. They might be. And is the battle over here in Bavaria? This should... Oh yeah, there we go. We're pursuing them already. They do have controlled retreat. Yeah, so that's a massive battle. That's going to be giving us Bavaria back fully. And I believe Brandenburg... Yeah, that's going to be ours as well now. After that particular battle. So there we go. At least we're getting some ground in here. I still won't be really able to take back Saxony, though. But I suppose the enemy troops... Well, they've got 120,000 there still. So they've got 50,000 advantage there. We actually got advantage on the Western Front now. A small advantage, mind you. We're just going to let the troops regain some strength. Let the enemy try attacking us still, so they'll take the most of the casualties. And eventually what we might do is we might move one of the armies to the Eastern Front to then start taking ground in there, because we need to get Austria out of the war as well. But I'll force them out of the war. That's going to free up Moravia. I think it's also Slovakia was one of them. Let's have a look. So Bohemia, Slovakia, and Galicia, Lodomeria. And then war operations from them as well. And everything else is just war operations. But that's the primary thing that we want in this war, is free up some nations in here, which we can then bring into, hopefully, bring into our sphere of influence. And there we go, another massive battle in Brandenburg. Battle in Silesia seems to be going fairly well in our favor as well. So if we now have a look at the casualties, they had to, at the start of this session, or this episode rather, they had about... well, if we factor in the 600,000 that the Americans lost, they were about 3.5 million, I believe. Now there's already 3.3, so it would be about almost 4 million actually casualties. We are still losing, yeah, we're still losing battles in Africa, but other than that, we are dealing... Oh, what's this then? Secession? Control Bantu. Oh, right, parts of Congo want to free up, okay. How about is the... They're not that militant, it's not really going to fire yet. As long as the amount of radicals doesn't increase too much, but it might still increase quite a bit. Yeah, okay, the battle in Silesia should be a victory. So the enemy troops over here, they are definitely losing a lot of strength. There's a bit of a... Oh, there's an attack going on, which our troops no doubt are taking part of. But it's our vassal that is trying to do the attack. They've got the numbers advantage in the battle, but they are still taking a bit more casualties as well. Not Sierra Leone is in default. Good, so there's a little bit more enemies suffering. Massive battle in Brandenburg again and Silesia. I think these are the same battles there that we had a look at earlier. We did manage to retake Bavaria. We did manage to take Brandenburg back. They have not gotten into Silesia yet. And then we've got the... Well, the Western Front... Yeah, they got a small advantage in terms of numbers. There's not much. I suspect most of our armies are still stuck in this combat, so we will probably lose this battle. But the enemy is still going to be taking more casualties overall. Oh, there's another battle in here. We've got a load of troops on our side. They've got a load of troops on their side as well. Well, actually, they had less manpower than we did in the start of the battle, and they're going to lose a lot more than we will. So that's at least reducing the strength a little bit. Maybe we actually just start heading into France or Belgium and take one enemy out of the war that way. That could definitely help. I mean, the enemy doesn't really have much of an advantage in numbers right now on the Western Front. Let's have a look at the armies that we have in here. Is any of our generals really good? Well, there's Hindenburg over here. You know what? Hindenburg will get to advance the front. The other one will stay on defense. Your defense strategist. Expensive offensive planner. Oh, yeah, Moltke. You can start advancing the front. And we've got another offensive planner in here, but that's only a few battalions, so we're going to not send that one forward. Oh, we might actually lose a bit of Alsace-Lothringen. we should be able to retake that in a battle or two. But we're going to start taking the battle to them, I think. That might be a good idea. Because now we can, since the enemy doesn't have the manpower advantage that much in here anymore, we can potentially start defeating a lot of their troops slowly but surely. So if we have a look, is there any battles that we are about to start on their side? I don't think so, not yet at least. We've got several battles still ongoing. Well, 2 battles get ongoing in there. The greatest exhibition. 100 prestige for 5 years. Alright then, I'll take it. That should get us, probably not quite to the level or the number 1 great power, but we're not too far off from Britain again. Got another massive battle in Bavaria, which the enemy had 120,000 men in there. That's almost their entire army. Almost. Admittedly, we probably had most of our army there as well. Oh, actually not that much. Only 40,000. Well, if they have most of the troops in there, manpower-wise, we could probably go ahead and take some advances in here then. Let's see. Your offensive planner. They're still defending, mind you. Ludendorff is also offensive planner, so we'll get those two start attacking a little bit. And that way we can start tying down the enemy troops a bit even further. A lot of the enemy troops don't actually have that high defense anyway. So we might actually be able to take surprisingly large areas. And if we can retake Saxony, for example, or start pushing Austrians back a bit further, that could be useful. Got a bit of a combat. Right, so that's a defensive combat in the north. We've still got the offensive attack into Wallonia, but that's not going too well. We're defending in Lorraine, and then... Oh, we actually... Right, we did win that. Okay. Well, our allies won that, but... Or colonies won that, to be fair. But still, it's a victory nonetheless. Looks like the standard or the GDP is now evening out a little bit, at least. So it's not a free fall anymore. Wait, what's this? Holland uprising. Oh. I'm going to declare neutrality on that one right now, I think. So some of those other things. Hell on Earth. Oh, South Cameroon. You know what? We'll do an inquiry. We won't be getting that rubber anyway in here right now, so if it's slowed down a little bit, it's probably not the end of the world. It's a pretty massive battle again in Brandenburg. But are we... We're defending in Bavaria, and... Oh, we're trying to attack. Oh, but we lost that battle. Just barely, though. It was a small amount of troops in there. But we failed to get into Tyrol. It's going to be a bit risky, wasting potentially a lot of manpower doing these attacks. Which, admittedly, maybe in the Eastern Front I should stop those attacks for now, and just hold the ground. In the Western Front we might be able to get some more ground. In the meanwhile. Not very likely necessarily, but I think that there's a chance, a lot higher chance, since the advantage in numbers is not that much in there. In the Eastern Front we have a... Yeah, they got more than 40,000 more than we have. So, on the defense, we can deal with that quite easily. On the attack, not necessarily. And looks like the battle in, yeah, Wallonia finally lost. The enemy did take quite a bit of casualties in there, but our side eventually did take more. Which is a bit unfortunate. So, what do we have now? There's a massive attack in Mulhouse. Once again. The enemy is taking pretty hefty casualties. Oh my goodness, they've taken already over... Well, yeah, over 20,000... just wounded. Well, now 30,000. We've taken 6,000. Oh, we might actually lose a little bit of ground in North Rhine. And I attack it in here. Okay, so that's not really going to go well. Alright then, let's go ahead and switch the attacks into defense again for a little while. That way we can still weaken the enemy. How is Britain looking like right now? For the war support and all that. They've got 75 war support. They're now losing 1.2 per week. So that's already getting better. They, of course, have taken a lot of casualties, which is starting to impact their war support even further. And they will keep on taking casualties, no doubt. Looks like Brandenburg is definitely going to be a victory. Silesia is most likely going to be a victory. So the Eastern Front, at least the defense over there is going fine. On the Western Front, well, that's definitely a victory in Mulhouse. But we did lose part of Northern Rhine. They actually took 61% in there. I suspect that if we got some proper defensive battles in there, we should still be able... Oh, this could be a bit of a rough one. We do have some troops in there with fairly high defensive values, actually. So, yeah, no, I think we are going to win this. The enemy's lost. Well, they will lose that battle, that's for sure. Got right, that battle's still in Silesia. How bad is the... Oh, they brought in their fleet here. Oh, they're trying to... Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this one in here as well. Maybe with 2 fleets, we might be able to take on that pretty fleet. And then slowly but surely, we can perhaps then go ahead and just remove these fleets here. Then start pushing the enemy's fleets back a bit further as well. So now we've got 70... Oh, there we go. There's a battle. Which side? Oh, it's just one ship versus... Or one flotilla versus one flotilla. That's Senegal that is doing that. Okay, so what I suppose I could do... Because you're escorting convoys. The other one's doing intercepting. How about we both start doing intercepting in here? And if we capture those enemy ships, we might not be getting all of them at once, but if we can take like a few things here and there, we might be in pretty good shape. It looks like in Alsace we're doing pretty good, and we have taken a little bit of ground back in Northern Rhine already. I think they were at 60%, weren't they? And this should definitely be a victory. Another battle in Silesia, another battle in Brandenburg. I think the Brandenburg battle is going to be pretty easy for us. How's the manpower looking like on the Eastern Front now? They're down to less than 100,000. We've still got about 80,000. On the Western Front, we've got 120 versus 140 of theirs. So again, we can still defend quite easily. It's just the attacking seems to be the problem. Oh, we've got... Right, is this... No, this is the same naval battle, actually. So, yeah. Senegalese fleet got a bit murderized there, unfortunately. But I suspect that if we can just... defeat a few ships over here, not necessarily the entire fleet at once. But I think we've got a fairly decent chance of, especially if we can intercept them and attack them, we've got a better chance of fighting them. But we're losing a whole lot of convoys right now. But if we can defeat that fleet, that might be the key to victory. Or key for pushing Britain out. Now, the reason why I'm playing on speed 2 is because there's a decent bit... Oh, processor and provocations. I didn't even notice that. You know what? We'll take a bit more radicals and perhaps not too much. Oh, there we go. We did actually intercept one fleet there. There we go. That's one ship out. We can keep that going. We might be able to clear out. That's... Okay, we've got a bit larger battle in here now. We've got a bit of plunder on our side. But this is the British fleet, actually, that we're fighting in here. It's the nice British fleet versus our Royal Prussian Marine. So I guess Royal Prussian fleet. But more approaches. We're gonna disperse the... how bad is the... It's 85%. We'll take a bit of... Okay, so that gamble didn't pay out. So we took a bit of gamble there. But yeah, so our fleet over here, assuming that we... Well, we are dealing quite a bit of damage, actually. We've got really good offense over there. So yeah, if we can defeat one fleet... Oh, we got another... Oh, we intercepted half of that fleet. Interesting. So we might actually defeat the British fleet in here. And then we can start defeating the French fleets and all that. So we might actually be able to retake some of this. Slowly, mind you, but we should be able to do something about that. Got a pretty big battle in Silesia. The enemy had 120,000 men in there. So they only... Well, they now have 100,000. So we're almost going back to 90,000 in the Eastern Front. We've got 120,000 in the Western Front, and there's a bit of an attack going on in here, which is probably not going to go all that well. We've got some troops that are taking part in that, but it's not sufficient. But I suspect the enemy is, well, they are probably increasing their army size a little bit as well, so they're not doing as many attacks. We're retaking the areas that they did control, so that's at least good. And how's the fleets? So one of the battles is almost done, and the other one is almost done, so that is going to be, I think, 40 or so flotillas from the British fleet gone. Well, not really permanently gone, but they will probably be pushed out. Insubordinate Jingoist. Northern and African colonies intentionally provoked a confrontation with Lega. Despite instruction to keep the peace, we can either save face by going along with the officer's plot, or recall him and admit that we lost control of the situation, upset Jingoists. That increased tensions. Okay, so well, it's not in for me, so we can afford taking that, even if there's going to be potentially another war in Africa then. There we go, that's... Oh, yeah, we actually managed to push them out. Huzzah! Now there's 160 fleet over here, so that's a bit too much. But we can at least keep North Sea fleet free of enemy interference. Oh no, they've actually got a little bit more ships in there. Well, that's another battle. And we are still the attackers on this. We've got the numbers advantage, so we should be able to do quite a bit of damage. I think the Battle of Liège is not going to go all that well, but the defense in Northern Rhine should be fairly successful. And that is quite a big battle in Brandenburg. They had 113,000 men to begin with. We've got another battle in Silesia, which... Did they actually manage to take part of Silesia? No, I don't... Oh, they did. Oh my goodness. Must have gotten a bit unlucky there then. But we are going to be probably winning this battle, by the looks of it. The enemy's taking pretty hefty casualties. got the careful maneuver, which is definitely helping us. How's the manpower looking like? We've still got 80,000 there, down to 80,000 as well now. So it looks like the Eastern Front, we might be able to tip the scales a bit further in here. Especially with this battle, the enemy's taking so huge casualties in there. Okay, so there's a civil war in Bombay. We don't, well, it's in the region. Kutch is the one that is. We'll declare neutralities on these because we really don't need to be taking part in any of this. Well, we do have, yeah, Northern Rhine. We've got quite a big battle there, which we are definitely winning. So how's the British war support now? It's probably taken a bit of hit. Oh, it's down to 60 already. They're losing 1.4 per week. So it's still going to take a while. But the capitulation desire is, well, it's still not that great. But again, if we can get Britain out of the war, that's going to be taking away most of the enemy fleets. Not quite all of it, but a huge chunk of it, which means that we might be able to then wrestle control of at least the nearby oceans. Or seize the, like the English Channel and all that. We can maybe start raiding the enemy convoys. Which means that they will then start taking larger hits to their economies. But we just need to hold our ground for the time being. Until we can get out of through the door. Okay, yeah, the battle in Silesia is looking at... Well, it's probably going to be a victory, considering that we've taken barely alien losses there. But it's a little bit of a close one. Whereas the Brandenburg one, that's going to be an easy one. No more battles in the Western Front, eh? Are they actually... They are going to be attacking with some more troops. How's the manpower looking like in here at this point? They got about 30,000 advantage, but we have gotten up to 120,000 total in here. On the Eastern Front, we're still about 80,000. But admittedly, a lot of the armies can't get reinforcements while they're fighting. So that's the downside of all of that. I'm sure after the battle is done, though, we should be able to retake or recover it quite a bit. The same goes for the enemy, of course. They'll be recovering quite a bit. Oh, that's a bit of a battle in Aachen. They had 150,000 men attacking versus our 100,000. Well, that's probably going to be enough to at least take a bit of ground there. And we've got another battle down here in Lorraine. Or Lothringen, and that should be... It's going to be an easy victory. They barely had any troops in there. The GDP is still dropping a little bit. Oh, we've got another naval combat in here. But looks like we've actually managed to push out a decent bit of the enemy fleets in here. They had, still after that left, they still had like 90 flotillas in there. But now, not so much. Now, admittedly, we've taken a bit of casualties in this process as well, but it's not that bad. Three-sized standoff. How bad is the 85%? Okay. You know what? The professionals. Oh, well, that didn't go too well. Now, how bad is the situation in terms of losses now? Let's see. So they're taking 1.5 million dead and 3 million wounded. So that's 4.5 million plus the 600,000 that the Americans lost. So that's over 5 million losses on the enemy side. We've taken about 1.7. A bit more than that, but yeah. Let's say 1 million and 3/4. Round it up a little bit. So yeah, it's been a bit costly war for the enemy as well. They're taking 40 million. That doesn't include, of course, what the Americans spend, but that wasn't actually that much. The biggest spender on the enemy side is actually Belgium, which has spent almost as much as we have during the course of... Well, actually, as much as I have. Of course, my vassals have also spent a bit of money. So I've spent about 11 million, and the Belgians have spent about 11 million as well. So that ain't too shabby. We are slowly still getting some more troops, hopefully. At least inflicting so much casualties for the enemy that eventually the British will just decide to bugger off. Ooh. We've now got the advantage in the numbers. Is there... No, that's a defense. Let's have a look at the armies. Who of the offensive generals are busy right now? Hindenburg is not busy. Why don't you start advancing a front? And there was, that's defensive. Main army had Moltke, who is also offensive planner. Not currently busy, so start advancing the front. With 2 armies, we might actually be able to do something. And the enemy is taking such a huge casualties in these battles that we might actually have a fairly good chance. Oh, there's a small battle right there. Let's see, so it didn't start a new battle yet. Probably will soon enough, though. And again, the enemy is starting to have such a... less troops than we... Oh! Okay, Battle of Liège, this is a big one. Both have surprise maneuver. They've got a bit more troops than we do. manpower-wise. They've got about 25,000 advantage. So this might actually be a loss. It's probably going to be a bit of painful combat for both sides, mind you. But I suspect that taking some risks like that might be needed to actually end this war sooner than 10 years. But it started like 1907, I think. Does it actually list the starting year in here? Every time I open up the war menu, I'm afraid that it will crash the game because it lags for a while. When was the first battle? So that was August 1907. So yeah, we've been going for 2 years now. In this particular war. No, I don't think our offense is actually going to be working in here, so I'm going to stop the advance for a little while. Actually switch to the adamant defense. To deal even more damage, and then you can switch to the... What's the last end? There's more casualties taken. I don't want that one. I'll switch everyone to adamant defense. It's going to be a bit more costly. But honestly, I think we're going to deal with that. That's going to deal a lot more damage to the enemy. Overall, so... Or at least our defense value is going to be much higher. But yeah, we're just not really able to break through that. Which is a shame. But at least on the other hand, Eastern Front is still defending quite admirably, and we are now getting to the even numbers over there as well. So maybe soon enough we might be able to retake some areas in the east. Not necessarily going to be easy, but I think the enemy over there is... Well, actually the French have a lot of troops there. So the enemy is actually still fairly good at defending. Oh, the enemy's got a plunder in here. So at least they're taking casualties, but I think it's going to be roughly equal casualties in that battle. So not exactly ideal, but that is just how it is right now. Oh, we do have a naval combat against the French fleet. Aha! What's the other ship? Oh, right, that's just the old battles, I think. Yeah, that's, Oh, right, there's other fleets fighting in here as well. Of course, it's the Dutch Civil War. That's taking place there, but yeah, there we go. We defeated the French fleet, so we're slowly but surely pushing out the enemy fleets in the North Sea, and thus keeping at least that area clear of enemy convoy raiding, although there's still going to be plenty of it elsewhere, so I don't think our convoys are ever going to, or anytime soon, going to reach their target. Ooh, there we go, 119 defense. That's pretty respectable. But the attack into Liège is not going to go all that well. Well, perhaps we should also, on the Eastern Front, put on the adamant defense. To the ones that we can. It's the last stand, but then we don't want that one. Okay, so actually none of these have that. Never mind then. Was as two as we have been doing thus far. Oh boy, there we go. That's another 35,000 casualties. 36,000 almost. And there's a load in Brandenburg as well. So yeah, we are definitely dealing a lot of damage on the enemy. So how's the... Yeah, the losses are already getting pretty insane. But how's the war support for Britain? It's down to 44. They're losing almost 2 per week now. And that won't actually stop at 0 either. So I suppose with this speed, if we assume it's about 2 per week, that's going to be still like 8-9 months or so before they decide to exit the war. But that's going to take a whole lot of their vassals out of the war as well. And then that should allow us to maybe get some troops back into Africa to deal with the colonial wars in there. And slowly but surely, also start fixing the issue in Europe. Yeah, another battle in Brandenburg. We've got another battle in Silesia. And we've got Lorraine. The French are trying to attack there. They're taking pretty hefty casualties. We've got a battle in Eupen. I'm guessing that's still in Northern Rhine. But that should be a fairly easy defense for us. And then what's the other battle in here? Is this our side attacking? Yeah, that's still the attack that we started ages ago. Germany is likely to increase autonomy. Okay. I suppose they are still not really getting their... Yeah, well, if it happens, it happens. There'll still be a Dominion. Ooh, what do we have here? Anger at the front. Climbing losses at the front have led to murmurs of mutiny. Spreading among the soldiery. If action isn't taken soon, the situation will become critical. As the Crown players and fight on, Civil War... German war exhaustion gain increased by 10. Can't afford to detail. Okay, so that's increased by 10, or... Also, what is that? Ah, right. And we're going to take that one. Not entirely sure what outcome we got from it. Okay, now the Austrians would be willing to have white peace already as well. Again, if we can get Britain out of the war, then things are going to get easy. So I suppose we should prepare for another year of fighting at least. If we just hold our ground, we should be fine, but I do see that we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, get the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.